This is National Native News. I'm Antonia Gonzalez. Federal officials are giving the Indian Health Service hospital on South Dakota's Rosebud Reservation more time to improve conditions. The facility's federal funds are at stake. South Dakota Public Broadcasting's Gary Ellenbolt reports.
As recently as last December, a blog post by the IHS was headlined, "Rosebud IHS provides quality care and community." That post was written several months before a July inspection by investigators for the Federal Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. Those inspectors say they learned of several cases of below-standard care, including a drunken 12-year-old girl who tried to hang herself while she was left alone, and a 35-year-old man who died of a heart attack in the emergency room after he was pepper-sprayed and restrained. Federal officials say the hospital in Rosebud has another week to improve care conditions. That's past an initial deadline. Those officials say the facility could lose federal funding if the benchmark isn't met. Leaders with the hospital and the Indian Health Service have said they have a plan in place to resolve issues. For National Native News, I'm Gary Ellenbolt.
A group of Native women from North Dakota traveled to Washington, D.C. this week to deliver a letter to lawmakers, which was signed by 41 Native women in their state opposing the nomination of Brett Kavanaugh to the U.S. Supreme Court. Members of the group attended confirmation hearings and met with lawmakers, including U.S. North Dakota Senator Heidi Heitkamp, to express their concerns, which include Native voting rights, environmental protection, and health care. The Native women were among other women's groups rallying in the nation's capital. Ruth Buffalo, a citizen of the Mandan, Hidatsa, and Arikara Nation, was among the delegation. She says it was important for the Native women to express their views.
Oftentimes in different movements, the Native woman indigenous voice is not included. There's not that strong intersectionality that we need. The importance of having our voice front and center, because while white women and other races still struggle for their women rights to be acknowledged, as Indigenous women, we're still struggling to be acknowledged as human beings.
Buffalo says there were also other Indigenous women advocating on Capitol Hill. Meanwhile, confirmation hearings continue in Washington. A healthcare worker for the Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma is no longer employed after allegedly posting disparaging comments about Native Americans on social media. In a statement, Choctaw leaders say they learned of the comments over the weekend at the tribe's annual Labor Day festival. The Tulsa World reports Nurse Jill White was the employee. Her Snapchat went viral with a selfie and the message, "My fake smile, excited to make sure a bunch of fat natives don't stroke out playing softball with no shoes or shirts on." Her friends on social media say it was a joke. White is no longer employed with the Choctaw Nation. The tribe's statement says disparaging words, even jokes, are never acceptable. The Sault Ste. Marie tribe of Chippewa Indians recently filed a lawsuit against the Interior Department over land into trust in Michigan. The lawsuit challenges the decision denying the tribe's application for land near an airport and in downtown Lansing. It alleges the denial of trust violates federal land claims. The tribe plans to use the lands for gaming and other tribal businesses. The Interior Department decision was made in 2017. The tribe says it weighed all its legal options and will carry on the fight. The Cape Cod Times reports the Interior Department is set to make a decision by September 21st on the Mashpee Wampanoag tribe's land into trust. The decision is whether the federal government will keep the tribe's land in Mashpee and Taunton in trust. Opponents of the tribe's plan to build a casino are fighting the decision in court. Tribes across the country are closely watching the decision, which could impact Indian land policies. I'm Antonia Gonzalez.
National Native News is produced at the Annenberg National Native Voice Studios by Kawanak Broadcast Corporation. Funding is by Odawi Law Group, provider of Indian law solutions, and by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, with support from the Public Radio Satellite System.
For Native Americans affected by domestic violence, the Strong Hearts Native Helpline offers peer-to-peer support and resources. It's safe, confidential, and toll-free at 844-7-NATIVE. Program support by the National Indigenous Women's Resource Center. Support by BNSF Railway, one of the American Indian Science and Engineering Society's top 50 employers. You can join us at the ACES Conference October 4th through the 6th in Oklahoma City. Info at aises.org.
Native Voice One, the Native American Radio Network.